Hello, my friends, and welcome to Quartet. I'm John Petersen from the Arlington Institute, and we're very happy to have you with us today. We're going to talk about whether the whole world is out of control or not. So you need to stay tuned and stay with us because it's going to be a very interesting kind of conversation. And it's going to be a conversation with four of us here on the Quartet, which we get together all like this every couple of weeks. And we're happy to have Penny Kelly back with us. Hi, Penny. How are you?
Hi, everybody. It's good to be back, let me tell you.
Yes, it is good to have you back. And Gregg Braden. Hello, Gregg.
Hello, it's good to be with everyone. I'm coming to you from our Santa Fe studio today, and I'm looking forward to this conversation.
And Kingsley. Nice to see you, Kingsley Dennis.
Thank you, John, and hi, Penny, Greg, and it's good to be back, and good to be back with all of us.
Well, thank you. Yeah, it's nice to have, we've all kind of been through in one way or another any number of kind of anomalous experiences here in the last couple of months. And so it is nice to get everybody back together again. So let's go to our subject and our topic of the day today. As we've all kind of implied in the comments that have been made in the last few minutes, there are amazing kind of liquidity, fluidity on this planet right now. Extraordinary kind of irrational kind of things, seemingly irrational things going on that make no sense. And it increases all the time, almost every day. Something happens that causes me to kind of sit back a little bit and say, what in the world is that? And it raises the question about what, is there under any kind of control? Is this all just going randomly crazy at this period of time? I'm impressed with the kind of unpredictability and the chaotic nature of the whole thing by a number of things that I've read just in the last 2 days. There's a title of an article that I read, and it said, only one man in America who hasn't gone crazy. And they were talking about Trump. And this was a quote from a senior official from Russia. And at the same time, then yesterday, Cliff High talks about his information suggesting that today or tomorrow is this big moment of kind of transition, probably related to the advertised kind of arrest of Donald Trump. But what he says is by the 1st of May, the U.S. government collapses. It's like 6 weeks from now or 5 weeks from now. And you just kind of back away and say, wow, how in the world? I mean, but you can see the thing starting, and I'm sure we'll talk about it in terms of the financial system and cracks in the whole system.
When you have a world, a world is the result of a whole bunch of people's consciousnesses. They each contribute something to that world. And when the consciousness changes, the world changes. And so, that's what we're going through. A lot of people are changing consciousness. The planet is changing. What I know, and I don't know if it's correct or not, but this is stuff that comes with me, part of the package. The big plasma spirals, they're kind of like DNA that move through the cosmos. Planets collect on the filaments of those big spirals. And when the planet moves to a place where the spirals cross, you get the chaos and you get the reversal. Everything shuts down for a short time. And then as the planet moves forward, things start moving again. So we know so little, and we always look at just what's happening on our little piece of land. We don't look at what is the big picture in terms of cosmic activity. And we have a long way to go with that. But when we get into those periods of chaos, the planet holds some of the frequency that allows us to hold the perceptions that we hold. So when I look at, is the world out of control? when you ask that question, my immediate response is no, the world is not out of control, it's out of alignment. We are moving to a world that doesn't have any corruption, to a world where everybody has what they need, where we take care of one another, where we laugh, where we don't work our butt off every day, all day for a few pennies.
Yeah.
That's not the world. That's the world we're leaving behind.
It's a wonderful opportunity for an amazing kind of invention of a new way to live.
Right.
I get quite excited about it sometimes because you can essentially work your way around the present situation, and you can identify all the things that don't work, and then start to say, so how do I build a new world that works, that obviates those kinds of issues and those problems and makes them obsolete? It's really wonderful. Yeah, I mean, it's more than just theoretical. The thing that's exciting about it is you can really do it now.
Yeah.
So that's kind of cool.
The word control, John, I think it's relative. I don't know that the world has ever been controlled. The illusion of control has been in place because of systems that were built under certain parameters that we always thought would be constant. And now those are parameters like climate, like economy, like conflict cycles. And now that those parameters are changing, the control that used to fit in the old world doesn't fit. And that's what's breaking down. And I think we are going somewhere where we have been conditioned as a planetary civilization to make our choices out of the fear of what happens if we don't choose a certain way. We're moving now toward making those choices from the love of what is possible if we do, rather than from the fear of what happens if we don't. And that's a very, very powerful, very pivotal shift. One of the ways that I look at this, when I look at nature, a lot of people think that nature strives for balance. Actually, nature abhors balance, because if you think of two scales in perfect balance, nothing happens, because it's the imbalance that drives the evolution. It's the imbalance that drives the shift. So what nature is looking for is not balance, it's harmony between the systems. And I think what we're striving toward now is precisely that. It is a harmony within the systems as we're choosing from love. And during the break in that presentation, there was a man that came into the room, dark sunglasses. He wouldn't take them off. He had a dark suit. He had his little radio earpiece in, and he walked up to the front of the room and he said, "Can I talk to you?" And I said, "Yeah." And he said, there was a time that we, whoever we are, thought we understood what was happening. And in his language, he says, "It appears that something has gone horribly awry. I'd like your thoughts on what that might be." And my answer to him, I said, in your algorithms, in your calculations, if you did not account for consciousness, that is what has gone awry, because you cannot predict mathematically with certainty how consciousness is going to influence the systems. And I think those powers that be may have overlooked that factor, and that's the good news for us. That's the love that is allowing us to make choices that don't fit those old models.
I think we're living in a time of amnesia, because, is the world going crazy? Well, there's always been these periods. We know, we've talked about these great cycles where there's been the rise and fall of civilizations and the death of cultures. Was the world going crazy in 1789 when they stormed the Bastille and took down the French monarchy and executed them? Well, at that moment in time, at that pinpoint, yes, it did seem like that. Then we got a different world came into emergence after that. So like Penny said, we have these moments of seeming chaos because none of us really understand what's going on. But the good thing is right now, we're trying to relate this to larger goings on behind the scenes. And so if we can perceive better what is going on, we can be better prepared, because it's going to happen, it's going to come. It's like if you're standing on the beach and you see a huge wave coming, you can't stop it. Now, in the past, King Canute stood on the beach and tried to hold back the tide. You know what happened to King Canute? He got very wet. But of course, the question is, if you know that tide's coming, you better start to learn how to surf it. You know, it's going to be the surfers are going to ride that wave better. And that's the preparation. And I do feel that, you know, there are, of course, people in different degrees of understanding. And there are those small group of people that we've been talking about who think they've got a handle on this. They see the big tide coming. So they're no doubt thinking at some point that big wave is going to hit. And so we want to surf it and leave everybody else on the beach to get wet. So after the wave comes, we'll be in a better position to put our structures forward. I think that's their thinking. So they can't stop the wave. They don't really know what's going to happen when it hits, but they're trying to surf it. But they're surfing it with a mentality of control, materialism. We'll manage everything by technology. And we may run into our underground bunkers, you know, at one stage. But you see, they don't know the energy behind it. They don't know how it's going to affect consciousness. As you've mentioned, Greg, there's all these elements they can't place. They just know that a big wave is coming.
And for those of you in our audience, I want you to know that we'll be back again in a couple of weeks with another quartet. And quartet, as I've suggested, is only one of a number of programs that we have here at the Arlington Institute. We have Future Edition, which is our free newsletter, which is available, that comes out twice a month, and Transition Talks, our speaker series here in Berkeley Springs and live streamed all over. In that regard, Penny Kelly and both Penny and Gregg Braden will be with us here in the coming months. And so you'll want to check that out and be a part of that. Dave Martin will be here this next month here in April. And that's always a big, very popular kind of event here. And so you can get complete information about that at arlingtoninstitute.org. And we hope you'll go take a look and see some of the other kind of things we're doing. Well, thank you all. And we'll come back in 2 weeks and we'll see if all of our predictions are accurate or not. In any case, it's going to be a very interesting time, and there'll be plenty to talk about here 2 weeks from now. And we hope that you'll come and be with us. So take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.